Happy Wednesday. I am switching it up a little bit today. And what I mean by that is I'm in my office, but I'm on the couch in my office, just sitting cross-legged, no makeup on, hair is filthy, no ring light in my face. And the intention of all of that is just to come to you a little bit more intimately, a little bit more casually. I feel like the podcast has kind of taken a turn, not in a negative way, but I feel like it's been more, I don't know, like training oriented, I guess is the best way to say it, and more informational, which, again, is not a bad thing. And I'm not promising that that will go away. But when I relaunched the podcast As You're Fucking Welcome, which was basically exactly 2 years ago, which I didn't even realize until the other day it came up on my memories on Instagram. But when I relaunched it, that was my intention, for it to be more conversational, for it to be more raw, for it to feel more like just like me and you chatting instead of me talking at you. And so I'm not saying the way that I was doing it was bad or that it's going to be this way forever, but I'm just feeling called to experiment and to experience new things and therefore try new things. And so, again, not that I'm doing something radically wild, right, by going on the other side of my fucking office, but the energy for me feels a little bit different. I'm giving myself permission to like honor that instead of telling myself the story that it has to look a certain way, I think it's very easy to make decisions from this place of, okay, well, if you have the ring light on, you have your hair and makeup done, then you can pull clips for Instagram and so on and so forth, which is true, obviously, whether or not I'm dressed, whatever. But I don't want to just make decisions from a place of what should I do or what makes sense strategically. I want to do things that feel aligned and right to me and my heart and my soul, and also that feel like it's intimate and powerful and effective for you. And so again, that's my hope and kind of shifting gears a little bit. And so as I start recording this, I kind of have no idea where the episode is going to go. I have a couple notes written down and a couple reminders for myself, but I wanted to just give myself permission to talk to you and to get in your ear and to share with you what's on my heart and soul. So the first thing I want to say is that moving forward, my intention is to every single Monday in my free Facebook group, You're Fucking Welcome, the community, every single Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific, I'm doing a Monday masterclass. And this is where I'm going to be doing one live per week for the most part. I mean, again, if I feel like throwing another one in there, I might. But it felt important to me to, focus on like less stuff, better stuff, right? Like do one good live and make it an event and make it something that people really come to and that they know that this is the thing per week. That felt important to me. And also felt important to me to not be going live so much or creating so much content that it actually waters down what it is that I'm doing. And so we've got a couple really great masterclasses coming up over the next couple of weeks. We're going to announce those probably within the next day or so. But yesterday I did a masterclass, or I don't know if I should call it that. That was definitely more conversational, but it was a live video where I shared with everybody the lessons that I learned from leaving a 6-figure mastermind last year. And it was an experience for me that I have not talked about very much. I've told like clients that are closer to me the details and, obviously friends and things like that. But in a nutshell, it was an experience that really hurt me. It was an experience that ended really badly. There was a lot of drama. There was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of back and forth. And I feel like in a lot of ways I took a hit because of it. And I haven't been walking around for the past year angry about it. It's not that. But I have been harboring some resentment towards how all of this went down and how it affected me. And I feel at this point that really if I thought that I could clear the air with somebody and get some closure by addressing the people who ran this mastermind, I would do that. But I'm very clear at this point, especially, that they're very they've been closed off from hearing, our thoughts, our opinions, all of us left the mastermind. And so my point is that there is no point in actually attempting to, address the situation head on. And so I've kept quiet. I haven't said anything over the past year for the most part, but for some reason over the past couple of weeks, it has started kind of like bubbling to the surface again. And I felt the need to just share the lessons and also give myself closure in that way. I have found it so therapeutic over the course of the past few years to share with you guys what I'm going through or what I'm experiencing. And, I'm so in my head all day long, right? Like my brain never fucking stops. It's exhausting, as I'm sure many of you can relate to. It's exhausting. And so I don't often give myself enough chance to like really say all the things that I'm thinking out loud. And by doing that, I've learned over the years that it is such a freeing thing for me, especially when I can do it in a way that brings you value also. And so, like I said, it finally felt time to give myself the closure in that way. And so that went down yesterday in the You're Fucking Welcome, the community. Of course, there's a link in the show notes if you're not there already. But I did it in a way that a lot of people said it was really helpful and valuable, which I'm happy to hear. I did it in a way that the intention was value. The intention was lessons versus if you're looking for, I hate that expression, the tea. If you're looking for the tea, that's probably not like an episode that you're going to like go watch Housewives, go watch Love is Blind. You're not going to hear a bunch of drama in the live itself, but I did share it in a way that is full of, again, lessons for you. And that's whether you are, just running your business, running a mastermind, thinking about running a mastermind, you're in a mastermind, you are thinking about joining a mastermind, anything across the board. I feel like there are some important overall nuggets of value in there for you. And so definitely check that out. We're going to start taking the replays down on Friday, just to be perfectly honest with you, because I know when a lot of people think that they can watch it whenever they want, they watch it whenever they want and it collects dust. And, my intention with the lives each Monday are for a lot of you to be there, a lot of you to be, not only live, but to watch the replays and to get that information versus feeling like, oh, okay, I'll go watch it someday and then you never do. And so the replay will come down on Friday. And so if you want to listen to all of that and hear all of that, definitely get in there sooner rather than later before you miss the chance to get that. You'll also see in the show notes, we have added a text marketing little situation. And it's only going to be used for lives. So it's not a situation where you're going to sign up for the text and you're going to get like a bunch of things from me selling to you. Not that I'd be fucking sorry for that because you're fucking welcome. But I really just wanted to implement this for the purpose of reminding you about the live. So if you sign up for the text marketing, you text YFW to whatever the number is in the show notes. I don't know it off the top of my head. But if you text that number, you'll get alerts 30 minutes before I go live every Monday. And so again, just another way to kind of make sure that you don't miss it and don't miss the opportunity to join me because I want that and hopefully it's going to be valuable to you. And so definitely sign up for that. In thinking about what else I want to talk to you about, Ellie's sitting here with me, as you can hear. As I was thinking about what to talk to you about today, like I said, I have like a bunch of random thoughts versus one kind of like concrete theme, but I don't know. For me right now, I am craving magic, miracles. My life is good. My business is good. Nothing is making me miserable, making me unhappy. I'm not in this place where I'm like, it feels like dark or anything like that. Well, at the same time, I'm really just feeling like I want this infusion of color, infusion of excitement. And, so number one, we'll start off by switching up where I'm sitting for the podcast. Little changes add up. But it's funny because I have 3 different friends right now, like 3 close friends who are all in the process of just completely blowing up their lives, like moving cross country, leaving their jobs, leaving everything behind, their cars, their stuff. And they're just like, I just need a fresh start. I need something new. And I fucking love a blow up your life moment. Like I really, really, really appreciate and respect those periods of my life or other people's lives where just everything changes and it feels really scary, but you just fucking jump off the cliff. And so again, I'm in this position where I'm like, okay, like I don't feel the need to blow up my business. I don't feel the need to necessarily move right now. There's nothing that I need to drastically get rid of, or again, nothing that I need to blow up necessarily. But I'm like, do I cut my hair? Do I do something else to just feel a little bit of an infusion of, again, like newness, if you will? And so, I don't know, I'm saying that because I want you guys to let me know via Instagram or in the Facebook group, either one. Number one, what have you ever done to blow up your life? Like, I'm really genuinely curious to hear about that. But B, any suggestions on things that are like, again, somebody like me right now where I'm saying I don't, I'm not miserable. I don't feel like I need to leave everything behind, but I want something fresh and new. I would love to hear that. And, for you, if you are somebody who is, I don't know, feeling stuck or stagnant, I just feel like something that I was watching a TikTok yesterday, and I found this guy. I can include the link in the show notes too. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he's like a sober coach, but it's like, I think it's like beyond sobriety, something like that. And I'm not sober. It just so happened to pop up, but he was talking about just training your brain. And I've been very kind of like into all the Joe Dispenza stuff lately, and just really working on being more mindful and, choosing my thoughts and not feeling like I'm waking up and it's fucking Groundhog Day. And this guy, the way that he said it, which I've heard a million times, but just the way that he said it for whatever reason just like hit me yesterday. But it was like 90% of the thoughts that you think are the same ones that you thought yesterday. And so if you continue doing that, like how do you expect tomorrow to be different? How do you expect tomorrow to be different? And it's just so true, right? Like each and every one of us, it's very easy for us to wake up, think about, okay, here are the things that we need to do. Here are the things that go wrong. Here's our routine. Here's, the tea that we make. Here's the dog that we take out. And we're just kind of like on autopilot. And on one hand, I really crave routine, and I crave safety in that way, right? Like routine in a lot of ways means safety for me. Whereas I also, again, want that magic. And so I'm trying to kind of put myself in this position where I am giving myself permission to go about things differently and just view things differently, have a different perception of things. And so maybe that means, again, like I said, switching up the position that I'm recording the podcast on and making it feel a little bit more light and a little bit more aligned to me. Little things like that are a really big deal. And I just, I want to remind you, I know this is like the most basic thing to say ever, but you journaling for 20 minutes, you sitting there, putting your phone away and just giving yourself permission to write your reality and write it how you essentially want it to be. And I don't mean it okay, I'll say it this way. When I am doing something like that, when I am journaling, I don't necessarily find it super helpful. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't find it super helpful for me to sit there and be like, I'm a billionaire. I have 15 best-selling books. It feels so far away. Like I know that those are like things that I'm made for and destined for and I'm worthy of, but it also feels very far from where I am right now. And so I find it far more beneficial and far more helpful for myself to like write out in the morning, as an example, how my day went today or how my week went. Like let's flash forward to Friday. What happened this week? And I find that that's a much more helpful way for me to feel grounded and also excited. Like it's like this hit of dopamine that I get to allow to lead my day instead of otherwise when I used to do it in a way of painting the picture of the far off future. Again, I don't think that that's bad either. But then it almost felt like I was creating a situation where my fantasies were better than my reality. And then it almost felt like depressing or almost felt like a downgrade to like open up my eyes or to, get up from journaling and then feel like, okay, but like that's far away and like what happens now? It feels again like the day specifically, if I'm sitting there saying, I answered all of my clients with, so much love and so much support and they were so grateful for me and I rocked the hell out of this training today and I did the best podcast ever and it was so good in these ways and I got this amazing workout in and it felt so good. When I do that on a day-to-day basis, again, I find that it really changes my mood and my thoughts and the way that I'm operating during the day. And I can literally, there have been times when I start doing that and I'm like all like foggy-eyed and tired and I'm just like, I don't want to be up right now. And 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I'm literally like a brand new person. I feel ready to like conquer the world. And so I don't know, I'm just saying that because I want to remind you here how important it is for you to whatever degree you're able, control or decide how your life gets to go and not be in this situation where you are just assuming or resigning yourself to more of the norm, more of what happened yesterday. And this is always a hard thing, I don't know, for a lot of people to explain, but for me to explain because I feel like that can feel like very like airy-fairy. Think positively and your life will change. But it's the fucking truth. If I go into a date thinking that somebody's going to hate me versus I'm the best woman that he's ever seen, I'm going to operate differently on that date. If I go into a live video believing that people are going to buy versus not believing people are going to buy, I'm going to have a massive difference in terms of my energy, in terms of how I show up, and therefore how my results do or don't come in. And so I just want you, again, I feel like the people who listen to me for the most part are more of like the practical type of people, right? Like you probably were attracted to me somewhat because I am a little bit more masculine and strategic. And I think that's a really positive thing. And that's not going anywhere anytime soon. I feel like that's a whole other conversation. I feel like I've made peace with the intersection of those things. But if you are that person, assuming you are that person that is just worried about what do I do next and what's the right move, and this is how it's always been, that person who's just very heavy in the thinking, I just want you always to remember here that all possibilities exist for you, right? All possibilities exist for you, and the more and more you intentionally get yourself into a place where you are operating that in that way because you believe that, the more things are going to change for you, and the more things are going to change for you quickly. And I want to say it this way, and I might butcher this point, but roll with me for a second. On Friday night, I went out in West Hollywood, and I was sitting with two girlfriends. We were just having like cocktails and appetizers, whatever. And I looked up literally for like 3 seconds. My head had been down, or my head had been in conversation with the people that I was talking to. And I looked up for like 3 seconds, and I see Roy fucking Kent. And I love Ted Lasso. You guys know that. But I was so, and there's not many people who like I would gasp at, like in Hollywood. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, I've trained myself to be cooler than that, right? Like, I don't want to act like a dork and make a big deal if I see somebody famous. But there are also not that many people that I would like really get excited about. And I just love that show so much. So like I gasped because I was so excited, and like obviously he didn't hear me or anything like that. But I was just thinking about the fact, because he walked in and then I saw him, and then he went to the bathroom, and I saw him leave the bathroom, and I only saw him leave the bathroom because then I was like staring like to see if he walked out. But it was just occurring to me, and I was just thinking about the fact, what else could I be missing? Because I only looked up for a few seconds, and for those few seconds, he was in my awareness, but I was very close to have been missing that altogether. I could have been in a restaurant, in a bar with Roy Kent and not noticed it. So what else am I not noticing? What else am I not open to? And so I don't mean that in a way of we have to force ourselves to pay attention to everything. But it was this, when I was thinking about it to myself, it was this calming and grounding feeling of all the possibilities exist. That potential client or those potential sales that I want, I might be having my head down at the moment, but if I pick my head up for 3 seconds and I look in a different direction, something, a big deal, right, could be right in front of me, but I didn't notice it. So therefore, more could be on their way. Or again, looking in a different direction, thinking in a different way could be that thing that changes what I'm actually focusing on or what I'm aware of, and therefore brings something new entirely into my world that could have been there the whole time, but I didn't notice it and I didn't realize it. And the same thing with dating and men. I feel like I'm in this place where I've said it before, but I do feel so close to love, and it's I almost feel like a little self-conscious saying that to you because I feel like I've been saying that for a little while now. But the interesting thing about that is every person I date, like I've been seeing somebody casually for like almost 6 months now. And him, I don't remember if I've talked about him on the podcast specifically, but like he is somebody who I feel so clear that I just manifested the hell out of. He came into my life at the really right time, and the way that he shows up and the way that he treats me and the way he is consistent and kind and respectful is far and away better than, I don't want to say far and away, but it's a whole new level of treatment that I hadn't experienced in a while. And that's the wrong way to say it because I don't want to make it sound like I'm like treated like shit from guys. But I think even if I think back to like my ex was good to me. He never, aside from the cheating that happened in the end, but during our relationship, for the most part, he was a really good guy. Like he treated me really well. While at the same time, our communication wasn't always the best. And, obviously I can take responsibility for the fact that I've healed so much since then and I communicate totally differently. But my point is, I've had good experiences with men, but the man that I've been seeing over the past 6 months, it just is a whole different level of, again, transparency and communication. And we're nothing but casual. But I appreciate, and I've really, really, really loved getting to know him and just having this experience with him because of, again, the way that I went on a date a couple weeks ago and the guy didn't open my car door. And I was just like, so turned off. That's like a new standard now. The guy that I'm seeing would never not open my door. And so now it just feels like it's this new standard. So my point is like, he's just elevated my beliefs and my expectations of like what I deserve. And I'm so grateful to him for that experience, for everything that he is and everything that he's been to me over the past 6 months. And so I'm saying that because when he came into my life, I was sitting there feeling like, oh, I want love, I want a boyfriend, I want this. And he's not that for some different reasons. And it's not a negative thing at all. We're just not on the same page with some things. But I was so happy. When he came into my life, it was more of this thing. I'm like, oh, this is why I don't have love yet. Because like I was still ready to meet this person. Like this person still needed to be in my life. There still needed to be this thing that happened before I got the love that I wanted. And I've gone on, several dates over the past few months, and it continues to be true in different ways. I don't know. I was seeing somebody who I didn't like as much, but he also he was showing me a lot of things, like in terms of how he was showing up, that I really wanted. And it was just this hint that I'm getting closer and I'm moving in the right direction. And so I'm saying that because my kind of instinctual or my natural way of thinking about so many things is my brain, as many of our brains go, my brain goes to solving problems. And so my brain goes to, what else do I need to fix? What else do I need to do? What am I doing wrong that's blocking me? And I'm really working right now on this understanding that it could be Roy Kent that's standing right there in the bar, not meaning like I'm like in love with Roy Kent, but the example of something could be right there waiting for me. And I've just got to pick my head up and believe that it's here now, instead of being in the situation where I feel like it's so far off from me. I have to be more aware of, I don't mean that necessarily in this way of a man, but which is true. Like I want to be better about, okay, I'm in the grocery store, not just putting my head down, going and getting what I want, but being more aware of possibilities and things like that. But I mean it in a way of the thing that I feel is not in the room with me. It could be, and my intention and my focus and my awareness of the belief there, thinking different thoughts in terms of it's here and it's here now, could be the thing that changes that. And I really sincerely feel like it's so close. And so again, that might have been a little bit of a babble and a little bit of a messy point, but I'm sharing all of this for you because what I want you ultimately to know and trust and feel is that everything you want is possible for you. The love, the money, the business, the child, all of the things, they're there for you. Like they're available to you. They don't have to be far off. Maybe you have some work to do, maybe you don't. But the sooner you can train yourself to operate from this place of it's here and it's close versus it'll happen one day, or it's this far off fantasy that could never happen. Like I want you to train your brain to just believe in possibilities and train your brain to think more positively. And again, that sounds very fluffy, but in my experience, you benefit a fuck ton more from thinking positively versus thinking about all the things that can't happen. Thinking about all the things that can't happen, it doesn't fucking serve you very much. It doesn't fucking serve you very much. But you operating from this place of belief and knowing the truth of who you are and what you deserve in business, in life, in love, all of it will always get you further and faster to what you ultimately want. And so again, I just felt like saying that to you from my heart because it's what I'm working on believing. And like I said, it's therapeutic and helpful and a good experience for me to be able to share those things with you intimately as well, and hopefully let my lessons be your lessons. So that's what I felt like saying today. I am in the process of launching a brand new mastermind, which I feel really fucking excited about. I feel so ready and so willing and so equipped to take on 6 soulmate clients who are killing it in their business, but they need strategic support. They need strategic guidance. They need high level support, right? High touch support where, I'm not answering you once a week or, once a day. I'm making it 6 women because I want it to be this more intimate space, this safe space where I am fully supporting you. You're fully supporting one another in creating that next level version of your business, whatever that looks like. This is for women who are making at least $200,000 in their business. And so especially for that reason, I feel comfortable saying taking you to the next level, because I always say not to say that, but taking you to the next level because it is about what is your next level, right? This is not a group program. It's a custom, intimate container where we are carving out what your next level is and then figuring out how to get you there with my support, with my guidance. We have weekly hot seat coaching calls. You have one-on-one call with me per month. We have a Voxer chat. We're going to do an event in LA, in I think July. I'm going to get the dates from everybody and make sure that we pick a date that works for all of the people involved, but I'm thinking July. And so sarah-dan.com for all the details on that. If you're somebody who you think it would be a good fit for you, I want you to Voxer me. My username is Sarah Dan. I don't do sales calls, but I would like to have a voice conversation with you just in terms of answering your questions if you have any, but also just making sure that we're an aligned fit energetically, because I only want people in this that I feel 100% comfortable working with. And I mean that in a way of I feel 100% confident that I can help you and that you want to be a part of it. I just want it to be an aligned fit. I don't want to twist your arm. I don't want it to be something where, you're not really sure who I am and then you're like, oh, this isn't a good fit. I want it to be just so aligned and so right for every woman in it. And if that means there wind up being 3 people in it, that's fine. I'd rather 3 people who are aligned versus 6 who aren't. And so again, the details are on sarah-dan.com, and then you can Voxer me, Sarah Dan, to get the conversation going if you think that this might be a good fit for you. The final thing that I'll say as I wrap up, I think I said it earlier. I recorded this episode. Well, I recorded the beginning of it twice. So I think I said this earlier in this one, but I want to hear from you. So I asked you, I think, about the blowing up your life thing. How have you blown up your life before? What suggestions do you have? But I want to hear, what types of podcast episodes are your favorite from me? What would you appreciate hearing a little bit more about? Maybe it's a situation where you can share the episode if you really like it. I would appreciate that a ton. I just want it to be a little bit more conversational and a little bit more, like I said, intimate with you. And so I ask, for your help in doing that, because, I can do my job, but I need you in order to do my job, right? I need you in order to create well and to make an impact. And so I want to hear from you in that way, whether it's this episode or just moving forward. And so the Sarah Dan on Instagram is one of the best ways to do that. I feel like it's a little bit more intimate. Or of course, in the Facebook group, You're Fucking Welcome, the community, we'll have links obviously to both of those things in the show notes. I will talk to you next week. I was going to say I don't have any idea about what, but I do have an idea, but I'm going to keep that for now as I kind of finalize my thoughts and feelings and information, all of that kind of stuff. But I hope you found this helpful. I hope that you, just enjoy the podcast in general. And I hope that you are in it with me in terms of really creating something good moving forward. Okay. I'll talk to you next time. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, I would really, really, really appreciate it if you took the time to rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps the show a ton, and I would be super grateful.